Hello, hello, everybody. This is Ariel. Thank you for tuning in to Healing Body, Mind, and Soul with Ariel. I am so excited today. I just can't believe this project of interviewing healers has led me on the most incredible path. And I'm so blessed that my friend today, Jewels, said yes. I really want to applaud her for just being a yes. We actually have never met in person, and she just saw my beacon on Facebook and was an insta yes when I asked her if she would be on our healing podcast. I love her exuberance. Now that I've gotten to know her a little bit better by looking at her website and looking at all that she is up to, I just know everybody is going to get so much value out of her. She's a Reiki master teacher, a beautiful creature, a beautiful muse, a beautiful priestess, and I can't wait for her to tell you her story. So without further ado, take it away, Jewels. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me to join you today. I'm so glad we finally got to meet, not in person, but not just on Facebook, but here as well. Let me share a little bit. I was born a natural seer and priestess, natural witch, if you may. And over the course of my life, and I'm a highly sensitive empath. So over the course of my life, my high sensitivity to my environment and the people around me, I was always feeling where other people were sick in their bodies. I always knew who was pregnant in the office before they did, a couple times. Got me in trouble once in high school because I blurted it out. Oh, it's going to be a boy. And she had just found out and no one was supposed to know. And yeah, so my gifts have gotten me in trouble a little bit throughout the course of my life. But
preaching to the choir, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, but what's interesting is what brought me to this path full time is back in 2005, I got sick. And my body was really summoning me to go deeper into myself in new ways. And I had chronic sinusitis. I kept getting sinus infections and they just wouldn't go away. And it was all right here, right in the area of the third eye. And I had surgery, and then I still wasn't healing after surgery. It was like, no matter what I did, I was just not healing. And so I had to go in for another CAT scan, and the doctor said, we have to do another surgery. And it's going to be more invasive than it was before. And there could be blindness, and there could be facial scar.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I freaked out. I went home. I had a meltdown. And I had a really surreal experience when I went home and had my meltdown. I don't know if any of you have ever felt this, but when you feel like spirit next to you, like holding you, I was crying on the edge of my bed. And I felt the bed sink next to me, and I felt an embrace around me. I cry a little bit. And then suddenly the clock radio next to my bed went on, and it was Sarah McLachlan's Angel song that came on. And I know that song is about addiction and heroin use. But in this case, I took its meaning as my angels are around me and everything's going to be okay. I've always been highly intuitive. I've always been drawn to the spiritual worlds. Right after that, I came across this word called Reiki. And I was like, what is this? I'm an Aquarius. The shadow side of Aquarius has to be a know-it-all. So I have a tendency to be like, what is this strange word I've never heard of? I must know what it is. And so that's really what led me towards Reiki. But what happened during the 6-week period of having that CAT scan and scheduling the surgery, and then the date that the surgery was supposed to take place, after I had my meltdowns, I woke up the next morning and Spirit had guided me to meditate twice a day. And in the morning and in the night, I would just simply breathe white light into my body, and I would fill my body with this light until I couldn't see any shadows. And I would drew it in through my feet up to my head, and I started filling my head, and then I just filled my entire body. About 30 minutes twice a day. I fell asleep a lot of times. It helped me get to sleep. That's how I learned how meditation is helpful with getting to sleep. But I showed up for my pre-op appointment, and the doctor is looking on one side and he's looking on the other side. He's like, wait a minute. And he pulls out the scans and he's looking at that, and then he's going back. He's like, okay, what happened? Because 6 weeks ago you were a complete mess and you hadn't been healing for 6 months.
There you go.
What happened? Did you do anything? And I was like, if I tell this guy I breathed light into my body, he's gonna give me another prescription. And send me to
I'm familiar with being under the radar about these things. I know.
So I said, alternative medicine? And he said, well, whatever you did, it worked. I'm canceling surgery. You're free to go.
Let's hear it for alternative medicine.
And I said, oh my gosh. So that led me to go look more into healing, and that led me towards Reiki and my healing journey. Because I knew undoubtedly that there was more to this. It was proven without a doubt to me. And the energetic imbalance had been right here. And my body was telling me that I needed to use my intuition. So I became so that's what got me started with Reiki. And over the years. That. Yeah. So I've loved the Reiki journey, and but lately, and in 2016, when I learned the Kotodama in Reiki, and Kotodama translates to word spirit, or the essence that is in words, spoken words, and I was really started getting drawn towards working with sound. And when I learned the Kotodama, I had to sing it. I had to. It was like a part of me I already knew.
Yeah, I've had that experience with Huna chants, where all of a sudden the chant took me over, and I've had some similar experiences, or just languages coming through me and verbalizing them. And as a musician, that's super exciting in some ways, and in some ways, it's not exciting in public places. It is very, very exciting, but it's not exciting. It's not exciting to spontaneously do it in public places.
They don't understand. They're like, oh.
Yeah, or the language. Yes, I was very disruptive once at a moon circle at a Sundance site, and I got taken up by spirit, and I was talking in this language, and I was signing the language, and I was you were
weaving something.
I was
being woven.
I was doing it, and thank goodness, like some woman walked up to me, and she just looked at me, and I looked at her face, and all I saw were her beautiful eyes, and she said to me, "I know that language."
It's like,
and I said, oh, okay, yeah. all right. And she's all, you just sit down here and just enjoy it. Because I was like ready to like, whoa! I was like,
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, this stuff is real. Thank you for having a conversation with me where that comes up, and I can tell somebody about that. Yeah, but I totally agree. Well, I'd love to know about this language that you're using, and where you got trained for that. But we have a ton of time to have a ton of interviews together. Let's go, instead of getting down a different wormhole, because I can tell we can make a lot of them together.
Yes, we could.
Having fun talking to you. What super tip would you give to one of our listeners who is just waking up? What super tip would you give to somebody who is just tuning in and just tuning into their gifts as an empath, and maybe like you or myself, wasn't born woken up like that, or maybe they're remembering, because I think that sometimes we have amnesia, right? Yeah. We go to sleep for sometimes decades.
Yeah, we're living in a world of illusion, and it's a big enchantment that makes us forget who we really are.
But what
And
super tip would you give to somebody?
the super tip I would give is, my spirit keeps saying, know thyself, and centering within yourself. What I would do is, you connect to your breath. Everything starts with the breath. And and creating spaciousness within you through the breath and slowing down, and then extending the breath. At the top of the breath, just pause and extend that space in between inhaling and exhaling, and like extending the spaciousness between being totally filled and totally empty. And then when you exhale, extend that spaciousness as well, centering within yourself. What I do that helps me, I went through I call it the 3 days of madness. I went on a spiritual pilgrimage, and it was like these timelines were overlapping, and I was getting and I was meeting people from past lives that were also on this spiritual pilgrimage. And we were in a place we were at Stonehenge and Avebury and Wales through stone circles. And there was, you visit these places where your ancestors walk, things happen, and it can be really confusing if you aren't anchored into yourself and don't center yourself within the universe. You can lose yourself, so, and within the universe that you are a fractal of. So centering with the breath, I was aware of this axis moving up and down, forward and back, left and right, and all connecting in my center. And I just held that axis and breathed with it. And if I was overwhelmed, I just held that axis and breathed. And it was like, this will pass. It will pass. This is the only truth I need to hold on to right now and be centered. And so like that core centering technique is really key. Because if you don't center in yourself, if you're anchoring yourself in some belief that is in some power that is outside of you, that is not going to help you. It's not sustainable. That'll give you a limited amount of growth. We have to center and develop our strength and our core power and our practice, and everything from our center outward, and our center being aligned with life.
Sing it, sister. I couldn't be more in agreement. I love the way that you say it, Jewels. That's really wonderful. I'm sure that will be super duper helpful. Actually, you remind me, when I was young, I traveled to Paris with a group of students, and it was the first time I had been away. I believe I was 17 years old, and I traveled to Paris, and I had maybe not my first, because I was aware of some of my spiritual gifts at a very early age, but my first one where I was away from home and I didn't have support. I had this wonderful mystical experience in the Louvre. In front of the statue of Nike. And the reason I'm bringing this up is you pinged my my consciousness when you said know thyself, because of course that was written over the oracle at Delphi, and that space and that spot is so important for me. And some of my spiritual growth, and I had that experience, and that was when I was 17. So thank you, fellow traveler, for waking up that that up. Now, Jewels, I love you, and I know I'm going to be in touch with you for a long time here. But how about our listeners? How can they contact you? And do you have anything coming up that they can gobble up in your sphere and get together with you in your neck of the woods?
Yes, I have, my website is jewelsaradia.com. So you can
out
find
for
me
us,
there through bookings. I do a lot of, once a month, I've committed to doing Facebook Live events where I hold space and guide people on meditative journeys and hold space with distance Reiki. And I invite, this is for all of us, doesn't matter if you're trained or untrained, but I especially love it when other Reiki masters join in to help, because we're all co-creating this new paradigm together. And so it's really an opportunity for us to link up and connect and do some healing work and meditation work together. So I do that on my Facebook business page, the Jewels Aradia business page, once a month. I think I'm going to be doing something this Friday, because I want to say Friday. What is that, the 5th? No, that's the 4th. maybe Friday or Saturday. I don't know. Stay tuned. Check me out. Oh, no. Oh, that's coming up too soon. This is going to air later, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that this is actually going to air in February.
Okay. Well, I do that every month. The spirits, I used to do the meditations on the full moons. Now I'm doing them every new moon. I've shifted. So this year we're doing the new moon cycles. So we're going to be focusing on that. You can reach me through my website at jewelsaradia.com. And I also released a healing album back in 2017 called Sonic Cauldron, and that is available on iTunes.
Awesome. And, we'll stick a link in the podcast for you to help you out there.
Awesome. Thank you. And so you can reach me that way, or you can send me an email at jewelsaradia@gmail.com.
Hello, and thank you for joining me for Daily Reflections with Ariel. Today's Daily Reflections is entitled, I Have Confidence in My Skills. I have confidence in my skills. Each of us possesses skills that makes us unique and strong in our own way. I have confidence in my skills because I see where they are capable of taking me. There is so much power in self-belief. I am an excellent teacher. It gives me great pleasure to fill my students with knowledge. It puts a smile on my face when I hear them express themselves with new information. When I see and acknowledge my influence on others, it boosts my self-confidence and reassures me that I am working where I belong. Although the validation from others is rewarding, I rely most on the message that I feed on to myself. I know that I am meant to use my skills to change the lives of others. For example, when I write meaningful content, I feel like I am being a blessing to those who are reading it. That inner belief allows me to confidently market myself whenever opportunities come my way. I pull that assuredness from my soul into passion for my work. It speaks volumes when I talk from my heart instead of just my mind. When I identify a new strength, I'm inspired to use it to build others up. It's important for me to share whatever I have with as many people as possible. It's amazing how far I'm able to reach in life when I just believe in my abilities. Today, I'm excited about what the future holds because I have what it takes to churn through life's twists and turns. I am a winner at whatever I commit my talents to. Self-reflection questions. Number 1. What are some of my greatest strengths? Question number 2. How am I able to continue to sharpen my skills? And question number 3. How does learning a new skill contribute to improving other skills? Thank you so much for tuning into this daily reflection and tuning into Healing Body, Mind, and Soul with Ariel. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. And until next time, happy